Jackson Youth Development Center.
He said, when's your podcast getting posted? I swear to tell you something. Goddamn, get you a damn trailer out there in Concord right now. It'll run you about $5,000 a month right off the slab, boy.
Yeah, I have an interesting story to tell since we're speaking of coming and going.
If you believe Helen Keller's fake, you've come to the right podcast. I'm half of the podcast, Stephen Michelle Renee Woods, and this is my co-host,
the founding father,
Cody Crack Rock Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Anyhow, we're in his
Give me that rock.
We're in his house. If you want the address, just send us an email. We're gonna try to record us a little episode on the Stonewall Jackson Youth Development Center.
Good old Stonewall Jackson. I remember people's grandmas, no shit, this is actually true. I remember people's grandmas and shit, if you were fucking up or doing something bad, your like great old ass grandma would be like, if you keep acting like that, I'm gonna take you down to Stonewall Jackson and lock you up.
For
just
real?
After knowing what the fuck I researched on this shit, fuck to the no, boy.
I'd shoot my goddamn grandma in a heartbeat. She'd try to send me to here.
If she tried to drag me to this hellhole, she'd be pulling me goddamn screaming, boy.
People in North Carolina actually call this Jackson Training School.
Yeah.
Well, they don't say Stonewall Jackson Youth Development Center.
Yeah. I guess it has like short form names too, like Jackson Training School, Stonewall Jackson. Because it was named after, the Civil War.
Yeah, because they were fighting to not get it open, but then they named it after their Confederate soldier, and that's
how they got
that like helped it open.
That just shows you how like the South was like, the South will rise again.
The South will rise again.
When?
Probably not.
I guess technically all the people moving here, if you consider all the migration down here, I guess it's rising.
Immigrants!
The damn price is rising. Goddamn, get you a damn trailer out there in Concord right now. It'll run you about $5,000 a month right off the slab, boy.
Dude, on the 4th of July, I was going up there near Carowinds to get me some fireworks. I saw bitches driving down here to get abortions. Ain't it crazy how shit changes?
From South Carolina. It is crazy how South Carolina, that shit's rural as fuck.
Yeah.
You have the beaches and shit and like
Charleston. Oh yeah, they clothes hanger themselves. Like if they don't want the baby, right up the pussy it goes.
Fucking South Carolina, they need to fix their fucking roads. You ever drove to South Carolina? It's like riding with the fucking Flintstones. That shit's literally skipping around. Matt, we got Mr. Bicycle Boy himself here again. Matt, you ever drove on the roads in South Carolina?
Yes, sir.
How'd it feel?
Like hell.
Like hell. Told you. That shit's trash.
Have you ever seen a vagina before we get into this topic a little more?
One time when I was 5.
One time when I was 5. Yeah, I think we were about the same age. You might have seen my vagina.
Bitches tell me I look like Marky Mark, but I don't believe it. Matt's the funky bunch.
The biggest compliment I've ever been handed is that I look like Tyler Johnson. You know,
That's
Xbox Boy asked me, he said, when's your podcast getting posted? I swear to God, he said, when's your podcast getting posted? I want to listen to that shit at work. He said, how long is the episode's going to be?
When I had dread, my boss, he would call me Sideshow Bob.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a compliment.
Fuck.
Dude, if you've ever ate monkey bread, you're at the right spot, you racist motherfucker.
Got a big old fucking pile of Wonder Bread right now in my pocket, spinning that shit fast, boy.
If you think you've ever had monkeypox, no, you haven't. They're changing that shit.
Monkeypox. It's taking over.
It can see out of town.
Dude, we need Jamie to come in here and play us a tune.
That shit would be lit to get him to do the intro.
Dude.
He can like slide on the hood of a car and
He can shred on that motherfucker.
that shit would be crazy.
If you've ever played with a Ouija board, you're in the right spot. Anyhow, we're covering the Jackson Training School. It was built in 1907. It wasn't opened until 1908.
That was a long fucking time ago.
It was the first juvenile facility open in the state of North Carolina. Did you know that?
I didn't know that until I researched it, and then I was like, what the fuck? I knew it was old, but...
It had over 800 acres and held over 60 buildings in the peak.
The peak of the mountain.
The peak of the mountain.
Down there in the valley.
If you were on the Titanic, you saw the peak of the iceberg.
You saw the glacier. Imagine if you had to take a shit on the Titanic right before it went down.
Freeze.
I wonder how many people were fucking with it.
I wouldn't be trying to shit though.
I tell you who would be happy. If somebody wanted an ice cold soda pop, boy, they could have dropped that motherfucker right in the iceberg, picked it up, got him a stone cold fucking soda right there.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I straight up tried to keep the shit in me.
What the fuck? If the Titanic was going down, you would just go down just holding your stomach in?
Yeah, because
Dude, I would just explode all over myself and just fucking go down. It'll keep you warm, not if you don't shit yourself, brother.
I put one of Summer's plugs in, that way I don't have to worry about it.
They didn't have plugs back in them days.
Mandy Lynn would have had a wooden plug. She's a goddamn icon to the porn
A wooden
industry.
plug. It's like a fucking door stopper.
So what did this building do? Well, I can tell you.
What'd it do?
It took care of the unruly youth kids that skipped school, stole shit. They could have stole some goddamn candy bars. You know where they're going? Prison. Not no
They're
more.
going to
they're
the
going to the training school.
They're going to the slammer.
They're going to get their dick slapped with pieces of rubber.
What? Hold on. What candy that long ago was so good that you'd be willing to go to prison for?
Willard Wonka's chocolate bars.
I had to get that goddamn golden ticket, brother. That's why they had to put me right here in the slammer.
Man, I tell you what, there's a piece of
Willard
bubblegum on
Wonka.
the shelf for 25 cents, and I only had 24, so I put it in my pocket and I walked out the door.
And your ass would go downtown to
Dude,
to the
gum
big
was
town.
literally like probably 4 cent or 5 cent a piece. You would have been.
Less.
You think?
Gum? Chewing gum?
Yeah, gum. Chewing gum.
Oh, yeah. It was probably way less.
Cum. Chewing cum.
Oh, hell yeah. Chewing gum back in those days?
Cum.
You could probably... There was probably so much goddamn gum, you could shake a fucking stick at it.
Dude, when I was out west, they had a gas station. It was spelled K-U-M and go.
Come and go?
Come and go.
Why didn't they just spell it
That's
with
what
a
I
C
do.
and lean right into it? Yeah, so come and go.
Yeah, I have an interesting story to tell since we're speaking of coming and going. Last night, I fucked Mandy Lynn in the ass. It was a good time.
Did you enjoy some hamburger helper that night?
Oh, while we were doing it.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was eating hamburger helper off of her tits. So
Dude,
that's-
hamburger helper, that is the breakfast of champions.
I put 2 maters right over her nipples.
Oh, hell yeah.
And just right in between, that's where the hamburger helper went.
Oh, hell yeah. I hope you had some Duke's mayonnaise on that.
Hell yeah, I had Dukes.
Hell yeah. Salt and pepper?
Salt and pepper, hell
Oh,
yeah.
hell yeah. S&P, never heard it called that until today, but apparently S&P means salt and pepper. You learn something
Or
new every
shit and
day.
piss, huh?
I knew those fuckers off Blue's Clues had something going on.
I love Blue's Clues.
How high do you got to be to think your salt and pepper shaker's talking to you?
Like you gotta be you, huh?
You got to be high. Nah, you got to be high with some strong ass shit to have a conversation with a
Correct.
salt and pepper shaker.
Shout out to Kenny Pays. Shout out
Kenny
to
Pays. Moonshine
Moonshiner
taster.
Chad.
Moonshiner Chad.
Moonshiner Chad, the supplier of the moonshine. Kenny Pays, the taster of
the moonshine.
moonshine. Supplied by Mr. Moonshiner Chad.
Oh yeah, green lizard, baby.
You need to get you some of that green lizard now. I'll
Get you
tell
a big
what,
old gulp of that green lizard.
She tastes like Kool-Aid mixed with a little bit of liquor. A little bit.
That shit'll shake your knees, boy.
So much pussy in there you can shake a stick at it. Anyhow, we probably would have called them shitty little piece of shit kids. You know, thieving little bastards.
Badass kid.
We probably would have called him a piece of shit.
Would you
No.
have went to Jackson? Do you think you would have got sent to Jackson Training School as a kid?
In my
those
middle
days?
school days? My middle school days, yes. 7th grade, I would have went.
You would have been out there.
7th and 8th grade,
Out there.
I would have got, yeah.
Matt, were you
I
ever
was
bad
a
enough?
dumbass.
Were you ever bad enough to be sent to Jackson Training School?
I didn't steal shit, though.
What'd you do? What was your crime of choice?
It's a bunch of crazy shit.
Like what? Didn't you hop in trash cans or something like that?
Didn't you moon a car with a kid in the back?
Nah.
No, it never happened. It's off the record. What are you talking about?
I saw my mom's, my friend's mom blunt.
How old were you?
I was in middle school.
Did you steal a dildo too?
No.
Damn, I was gonna ask if you still had it.
You still got that one laying around?
What's this mayonnaise doing on it?
Yeah, I keep it in the back seat of my car still to this day. It's like a good luck charm.
Anyhow, no, I never stole nothing though. Like I never stole nothing and got caught. I stole 2 things, but nothing big. It was like a candy.
I know somebody, and I'm not gonna say their name, but I swear to God, all I'm gonna say, Matt, is this is a real story. I'm gonna say this right here, and you're gonna know who I'm talking about. Throwing strawberries at the TV told me one time that he stole the Hannah Montana DVD from Kmart and then showed it to me, and I swear to God I'm not just saying it. I swear to God. He said I don't steal anymore. He said that was probably the last thing I stole. Like, he felt real bad about stealing that Hannah Montana disc.
Do you have do you have any stories about anyone in your past life maybe that used to stay maybe at your grandparents' house that fucked a hooker possibly one time? And took one of your buddies?
Wait,
This one dude, he slept on his couch.
Dude, the hooker. You said he came back sweating bullets. You got
oh no, that was at my grandpa's house.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he used to. It was this dude, and he'd go fuck prostitutes. And one night, he literally asked my friend. It was me and my cousin's friend. We used to like really be into like football cards and baseball cards and shit. And he literally said, "Hey buddy, can you spot me like $10 or $20? I really don't remember which one it was." And he said, "I'll bring you back a pack of cards." Because there was like a fucking, like, it used to be called Eckerd's, the pharmacy, but now it's called like Rite Aid.
Yeah.
And anyway, he came back sweating, like, dude, he was sweating like he was just interrogated. And this motherfucker was drenched in sweat, and he comes back and he's breathing hella hard, like hella hard. Like Darth Vader. And he walks in, and long story short, he took that $10 or $20 to go fuck a prostitute and didn't bring any cards back to the young man I'm referring to. And he was mad as fuck. He was walking around that night like, is he gonna give me back my money or not?
Did he, what do you think he got from the hooker for $10 or $20?
He was breathing like he went straight anal. He fucked that bitch in the... Like, this motherfucker did the whole 9. He did the whole 9.
Yeah, not the 10, just the 9.
Just the 9.
How hot do you think that woman was? On an attractive
She
scale from
probably
1 to
looked
10.
like a zombie.
You think she was on drugs?
Dude, a fucking post-meal prostitute living around like... Or whatever, like living around fucking Kannapolis, crackhead bitch back then would probably be like the nastiest shit you could possibly get. $10 or $20? Like, what the fuck are you gonna get with that?
A bitch would spit on you for that now.
He was breathing like he definitely fucked her. Yeah, in the OnlyFans days,
Maybe he got
would,
fucked.
He would be fucked. $10, $20? The fuck? He ain't getting shit with that. What's he getting with that?
He ain't getting no anal, I'll tell you that.
Anyway.
Not from me.
Anyway, he went on to win the lottery.
In the late 1800s, before the school was before it was built, you know, they'd send the little shithead kids. They just send them to prison with the adults. I actually read like a story about them sending one of them kids like they were sitting in the shackles, like shackled to other prisoners in the courtroom, because somebody was there for petty theft. Like the people that this is what made them want to like build the place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They seen them in the courtrooms with like grown ass adults, like shackled, like this fucking 13-year-old kid going to prison for like stealing something under $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that back then they would straight up throw you in jail like as a kid, like in there with adults. That shit's fucking crazy. It's crazy how things used to be and how it is now. That shit would never fucking fly.
No, I love men too much to go to jail. Better reason to go, am I right?
Better reason to go to the damn prison.
But yeah, so they'd be sent to adult prisons. But the school was built to help them by teaching them trades like shoemaking, barbering, textiles, and machinery.
Yeah, and if you don't know, like back in those days around here, like Concord and Kannapolis and you know other places around the area, were like super big on like textiles. Like Kannapolis had like Cannon Mills, and and they had all these different mills all throughout. So teaching them textiles would actually be super beneficial back then. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, I know.
So that they were getting them ready for a job, like if everything,
Yeah, if they were getting raped and their dick whipped. Yeah,
all the fucked up stuff.
But they also taught them to work in the on the school farm, which I think is good because if they were from Rowan, goddamn, you need that. What the fuck else?
There
do you
were
do
a
in
lot
Rowan
of farms.
County?
See, that's what I'm saying. They were. It's like they were teaching them things to like, so when they got out, they would be set up.
Yeah, but
for
mostly,
the area.
But it was mostly like the white women that wanted to build this school and send the troubled white youths.
Yeah, and those women were like part of the King's Daughters of North Carolina, the Women's Christian Temperance Union.
Oh, that's my group.
Hell yeah, they're really popular these days.
Yeah.
The North Carolina Federation of Women's Clubs.
NCFWC for short.
For short, right there. That's that shorthand. And the United Daughters of the Confederacy. They all participated in the campaigning to raise funds and influence the legislator to make this happen. So they were all for this type of shit.
You know, Cody, I used to work for a guy, and I was standing outside. Mm-hmm. This is just a brief setting. I'm not going to say which job it was, but I was standing outside, and I looked over, and I seen him standing there, and he stuck his hands down his pants, but also in his underwear, scratched him, got him a big handful of ass. He had a scratch. Yeah. I don't know if he was touching the hole or whatnot, but he pulled his hands out and he went, he sniffed it. He just
right there.
Right in his face, dude. He thought nobody, and then I seen him look around, and I was like, oh God, here we go.
He did the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
3 in 1.
3 in 1. 3 in 1 right there.
This shit was still open in 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it also said that back then too, both white and African American women's groups pressed the legislature for similar facilities for white girls and for African American boys and girls. Such facilities were not constructed for several years. But that's crazy. So I guess.
Hand me my laptop,
yeah,
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, I guess so. There was actually. You
can unplug it. Can you unplug it with your teeth? Leave some spit on it for me.
Oh hell yeah! I'm cooking some hot hamburger helper.
Oh, dude, hamburger helper is my shit. I found this sweet little. I have some quotes from people that went to this piece of shit school. I'll get into them. I'll start reading them as we keep going. Oh fuck.
It's also funny too how, like you were saying, how this place didn't actually get a good push and actually become anything until they changed the name to fucking Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah, because that was the Confederate leader.
Yeah, but it makes sense though, because down here, you know how that shit goes.
Literally, see, the thing, anytime you look it up, it won't say it's in Concord. It'll say less than an hour north of Charlotte.
Yeah, even though it's Concord. It's because they're trying to use the most close,
Everybody knows, more people know fucking Charlotte than Concord.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, if those walls could speak, they'd speak volumes.
They speak volumes. Not really. Compared
I don't know, though. Could you imagine, I don't know. That place has got to be haunted as fuck.
Oh, you're referring to the actual place. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If them walls could talk, that shit would be crazy as fuck. I thought you were talking about...
But, I mean, genuinely, I do think that it was built with good intentions. But
it probably was, but just like anything
don't think
else.
That it turned out.
The highway... What's that shit they say?
Life is a highway.
It's like the road to... It might not be evil, but it's like the road to something is paved with good intentions. So I guess that really stands true in this type of situation that we're talking about on here. But yeah. Apologize, ladies and gentlemen. He's texting. Who are you texting?
I'm texting people that I work with. We had a little company dinner, lunch today, at actually a bar. And for those of y'all that don't know, I'm not old enough to drink, so it's illegal for me to drink, but I had my kid in the bar, you know, and it's a lot different. Like now, like when my dad used to take me to a bar, he'd like drink and drive with me in the car. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
and then he'd like beat the shit out of me. So
Yeah.
it was a
You
lot
grew
different
up-
with my
you-
son.
You grew up really good, didn't you?
Oh, dude, I was.
You learned all the important lessons.
Yeah, like drinking and driving is okay as long as you don't get caught.
Yeah. Smoke. What year did you start? Or what age did you start smoking? 7, right?
You want me to
When
be
you got
honest?
your first cold Coca-Cola, right?
It wasn't much after that. I was 13
For real?
when I started like smoking cigarettes. Yeah.
What was your first cigarette of choice when you were an addict?
You know, this is crazy, but I mean, I started young, but I also finished young. But when I lost my virginity to this,
To
can't put her name on here, but yeah, we'll call her Danny. When I lost my virginity to Danny, we got done, and we went outside and we were sitting down and we were chilling, we were talking because her dad was about to get home from work, so I had to get on my bike and pedal that bitch back home.
Because you were a mail boy, right? Like you delivered mail and shit. You had to hop on your bike and pedal off.
That's exactly right.
Like Ferris Bueller or some shit.
Hell yeah.
Steven
And,
Bueller.
But she would like steal cigarettes from her dad. And
Oh,
she
hell
kept
yeah.
them wrapped up in a sock in her top drawer. And she said she didn't smoke often, but like she gave me one and we shared an L&M bold menthol.
Oh, that's romantic as fuck.
Every time.
Matt, that's pretty romantic, ain't it? An L&M? Matt, when you did smoke cigarettes and enjoyed cigarettes, what was the first cigarette you smoked?
I don't know. I really don't remember.
Okay. Well, thanks for all the insight.
But then, see, the reason I really started smoking is because I smoked, what are those illegal green substances called?
Weeds?
Yeah. I'd smoked me some weeds, and I was told by a family member that if you smoke a cigarette after you smoke weed, you get higher.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
And so every time we smoked a blunt, I'd smoke a cigarette, and you know how it goes. You start 3 a night, and then you're just fucking
Then you're
packing them bitches down.
you're just 3 packs a day type shit. Hey, Matt,
And then I quit.
you know what that reminds me of? Do you remember that young man that lived beside my grandma that rapped? Who lived in that house with that other young man we went to school with? And we haven't seen that young man who goes by, I'm going to bleep the beginning out, Newport. He literally handed me a Newport one day after we had smoked the weeds, because back then I really had never smoked like that. And he handed me a Newport out of a fucking soft pack, Newport soft pack, and said, hit this cigarette. After you smoke, it'll boost your high. It'll boost your high. And I smoked that shit.
You want to see my dad?
Oh, wow. Y'all look alike.
You want to see my actual dad?
Oh, shit. Y'all don't look alike. But you and the other guy do.
Yeah.
Y'all are like brothers.
You want to see my dad?
That looks like
You want to
Matt.
see my dad?
Who are these fucking...
These are my fucking coworkers. He's hot.
What the fuck?
Those are my coworkers.
Oh, hell yeah. Welcome aboard.
Anywho, so yeah, that's the first time I smoked a cigarette. I remember the brand. I remember it was a bold. It was a menthol. It was in a green pack. I remember what it tasted like. It tasted like manhood.
Mm-hmm.
I was a week from turning 14. I got my phallus. I injected my phallus in something for the first time, and then I smoked that shit.
Hit you a nice cigarette.
Hell yeah.
A fucking $4 a pack cigarette.
Hell
Which
yeah.
is crazily actually cheap now. Don't smoke cigarettes. Just elf it up.
I quit smoking. What?
Ah,
Shit, I was working at Hammer.
Fuck, I elfed it all up.
I was working at Hammer. Fuck.
Beep.
I was working at my last job when I quit smoking.
Hell yeah. You just put them down cold turkey.
Dude, you know where I used to work, right?
Yeah.
I went
In
to
hell.
Hardee's.
No, I'm just kidding. But, okay, so go ahead. Go ahead with some of the knowledge you have found.
Anyways, but in the 1800s, if you were a misguided, which I've already read that's just, you know, it would
Bad
actually,
kids.
it could land you in prison instead of a reform school or juvie or a boys' home like you would have now.
They throw you in the slammer, like the soggy
But this-
bottom boys.
This is what I was talking about. It wasn't until a local reporter, James Cook, witnessed a 13 boy sentenced to 3.5 years of hard labor for petty theft for petty theft did that change? That's when like he was like, fuck, we need a home, and he started talking to his wife. He was like, there's this little 13-year-old boy going to jail for petty theft. I mean, fuck. But the boy was shackled to a chain full of grown men and shuffled out of the courtroom to prison.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's crazy.
So that was like the match that set it all off, or the spark, or whatever you call it. That was like the catalyst.
I'm not gonna lie at all. Seeing this disgusted James. It fucking disgusted him. How would you feel? You see a 13-year-old boy strapped to this big fucking fat redneck motherfucker in prison. Dude, I'm fucking, oh my god. It just makes me want to suck mayonnaise off of somebody's fucking toes.
Oh yeah, Duke's mayonnaise.
Duke's, yes. Fuck Hellman's. If you eat Hellman's mayonnaise, turn this fucking podcast off.
Or
you
Miracle
worthless
Whip.
piece of
That
shit.
shit's nasty too.
Hey, we've all been poor before, but I've never been that poor.
Fuck no.
But
You
yeah,
eat
so
Duke's mayonnaise off the sidewalk.
so that was so pretty much that fucker James. He spent the next 17-year-old. God damn it.
He spent the next 17-year-old.
He spent the next 7 years campaigning for the creation of a training school for boys, a school that would hopefully give kids a second chance and learn some valuable skills along the way.
Yeah, and some of the skills that they learned when they were
For the third time.
were was shoemaking, barbering, textiles, machinery, and things of that nature.
And they got to work on the farms, which is actually, I think, in North Carolina, that's probably an important skill to learn.
And for the third time,
like
they
the
were
Midwest.
picking maters.
They were picking maters.
Maters and taters.
Maters and taters, baby. This idea caught the interest of a group called The King's Daughter, which we've heard about 3 times also, but they were able to convince their state legislators of this new form of re-education. But they didn't like we said, they didn't want to open it. That's why they put Stonewall Jackson
in front of it. To give it some credibility.
Here's a picture
Or
of
what they would call credibility.
Here's our thumbnail picture. Boys stand in front of their cottage with their parents circa 1920.
That shit looks creepy as fuck.
Why
are they all dressed like North Korean?
I said parents. I meant parent. They called the leader
their parent. Yeah, it was called their cottage parent or something like
my
that.
fault. That was the daughter's cottage.
Those were those cottage
cottage
parents. A lot of them did fucked up
shit,
stuff.
Yeah. I heard this one story that like if they'd make them get on their hands and knees and scrub.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stopped scrubbing, this motherfucker would just like if you slowed down before he told you to, he'd come up and kick you in the fucking ribs and shit.
Yeah,
that shit's crazy.
And they said, they said they would make them like buff the floors with like it was something crazy like a tiny ass rag or some shit.
Look at that shit.
Yeah, that shit's very abandoned.
Very, very, very. Okay, so we know that they opened They opened in 1909. We've talked about that. Did you know they had state-of-the-art classrooms and learning materials there? They had the potential to be great. They really did.
So they had some good shit there in the beginning before things went south.
They even had a newspaper the boys printed called The Uplift. It was published every month. We should look into that.
We should. That's crazy. I actually did not.
I'm gonna
see
click
that.
this little link because I didn't really pay attention to that earlier either.
It probably has like some old documentation, some old ass shit.
And if you hear somebody sounds like they're sucking in, like through an inhaler, that's me hitting the elf.
He's hitting his tank.
BC 5000 strawberry pina colada elf bar. Go get you one. They're good for you. Probably not.
Oh,
holy shit. The Uplift, Concord 1909,
wow.
Jackson Training School.
This shit looks so old.
You know why?
Because it is old.
It was made in 1909. I don't know why it's so... Holy fuck, there's 192 pages? Let's just read a little...
That's like a Harry Potter book.
Let's read a little...
Oh my god, his eyes look scary as shit.
Let's read us a little section out of here. What do you want to read? The Uplift?
Sure.
Regular quarterly meeting. The Board of Trustees of the Jackson Training School held its regular quarterly meeting at the institution of April 20th. A majority of the members attended. The meeting was full of business. Reporters were made by the several... What the fuck? Oh, the meeting was full of business Reports were made by the several officers. Plans were discussed for the further development of the plant, and it was ordered that there be issued from the institution a paper at least once a month, and I swear to God, this is oftener, like sooner. It says and oftener.
Yeah,
when conditions warrant the same.
People.
The building commissioner, the building committee messers. I guess that's him.
So this was like a whole little newspaper for the people.
Dude, we could make the cover like the, what's it called?
The cover.
The thumbnail.
Yeah.
The thumbnail. Yeah.
Sorry, that's me sitting down a cup.
King's Daughter's Cottage.
And that was it back then.
Yeah, this is one of the 2 cottages now completed. It is a home for 30 boys and officers. It contains kitchen, dining room, officers, sitting room, assembly hall, and stairway hall on 2nd floor. On 3rd floor, on 3rd floor are located the dormitory, private bath, and 3 rooms for the officers. I wonder how private that bath was. On the 1st
From
floor,
what I heard, not very private.
Exactly. I don't know. They had a real problem with homosexuals back then.
But the thing was, it was really just like, at this school, it was really just people not paying attention.
Yeah, they didn't have to be gay. They were
didn't
just called
care.
gay. I give you $1 million if you can read a full page of a Harry Potter book.
Oh, yeah.
Floyd Mayweather, that shit was crazy.
The Uplift, that shit's like a Harry Potter book.
Yeah, for real. In the early days, serving time at Jackson Training School was by no means easy, but it was fair. But things were about to take a dark turn just after the end of World War II. So it didn't start off bad, but I got some stuff. It's the same. This is when they started.
Sorry.
Hold on, guys. I'm stupid and I can't fucking read. Eugenics? What the fuck does that word mean?
Eugenics?
Eugenics is... Yeah, it says eugenics and sterilizations.
Yeah.
I was overthinking it a little too hard. But they didn't start doing that until after World War II.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it said in like 1948, it was like a whole statewide effort to limit like feeble-mindedness, which back then, that was like people that might have had like anger problems or learning disabilities or anything like that. They wanted to improve the population, and to do that, what they wanted to do was sterilize, these boys and girls. Like they didn't, so they couldn't, I guess they thought they would pass it on to their kids, so they would, give them vasectomies and all kinds of shit. And, they weren't even, they were under state care, so they didn't even like, they didn't even want this shit done to them. They were like forced.
Yeah, but that happened in multiple states.
Yeah, this isn't the only place it happened, but still, it's crazy because they just like completely took these people's rights away.
In an effort to limit feeble-mindedness.
Which that doesn't necessarily...
the Jackson Training School, they forced 6 vasectomies in 1948. Forced. That's fucking crazy. But it was authorized by the state's eugenics boards.
The state. It wasn't just them by themselves. It was like a whole push
but it was
to make
like,
it happen.
It was like a common thing. Like mental hospitals and schools for the troubled youth. Those were the most prevalent to do it. But mental hospitals, dude, that's like old mental hospital. That's something in itself. Them motherfuckers were crazy.
Mm-hmm. They did
just
a lot
do fucked up shit.
I think Geraldo Rivera actually exposed like one of them somewhere. Somebody just popped up on them.
Somebody in my family, like that's older, their mom used to have to go to, like they'd send her to the mental hospital because she'd have like really bad panic attacks, and they do like electroshock therapy on her.
Oh yeah, they used to do crazy shit.
And like the person in my family that's still alive, she said she used to like watch her like go through the fucking shit, and she said that shit was terrible.
That's scary as fuck. That's so wild. But back then, things were just... It was different.
Sorry, guys. I'm flexing out. Oh, fuck my pussy. Anywho, you want to keep going. You got more on post-World War II.
Yeah, and also around World War II, the school was let's see here, in like the 19 set.
It's fine, you can edit it out.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. Sorry.
My pussy's wet. National Gay Prisoner.
I'm just trying to find. It just says post World War II.
I have the thing about the 1960s.
But yeah, so after World War II and all that shit, and after so after the vasectomy shit and all the stuff by the school board, the school was criticized for abuses and things like that, like overcrowding and prisoner violence. And at one point in time, at its peak, like you said, it held 500 youth. So that's a lot of people living all in that controlled environment that let's just be honest, there's nothing made to it. Like, they were going through shit.
Oh, yeah.
And they were, and at Stonewall Jackson particularly, there's a bunch of accounts of, like, kids that were attacked and raped and all kinds of shit by other inmates. And it's just fucked up that, like, they were literally just, like, stuck in there with all this shit going on. It's wild.
Yeah.
I never knew it was that fucking crazy there, honestly.
Yeah. I have some stuff about the Cottage 13. It said the Jackson Training School suffered from overcrowding and prisoner violence, like many facilities did at the time, but some parents at the Stonewall School made it their duty to make the kids' life a living hell. Russell Smith, who experienced the horrors of Cottage 13, recalled some of the harsh treatment carried out by the staff. The type of abuse seemed particularly rampant during the 1960s. And this is a quote from him. "I was going to Cottage 13, run by Cottage's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Tompkinson. Also told me, the PC also told me that the cottage had a reputation that it was known as the queer cottage." Mm-hmm. That's a quote. I'm not homophobic. "I would in time realize that this was due to the great misrepresentation of prisoner rape as a homosexual problem. The Cottage 13 was a hotbed of prisoner rape."
So they basically painted it out like these dudes were, like, just fucking one another, but in reality, they were being violated, basically.
Pretty much. And it wasn't... It's like the abuse wasn't just, like, unaddressed. It was just ignored. Like, they didn't give a fuck. They just ignored it.
I did see something where, I don't know if it was that guy, but there's actually a Facebook page for all the Jackson Training School, and, like, people post on there and shit. And I don't know if they're all, like, alumni or whatever you want to call it, people that went there. But I also seen where this one guy, they would make him stay awake with this other kid.
Oh, the piss thing?
Yeah, and so he wouldn't piss the bed, and if he pissed the bed the next morning, they would, like, shove their face in these pissy sheets. And he said that happened one time, and I believe his the guy's name was like something Tompkins or something. Did you see anything about? Yeah,
that was the same guy that did that.
Yeah, he anyway, he worked on the farm, not him, but the kid, and when he went out to do his work for the day, he told one of the leaders there, and they actually got mad about it. So I guess rarely some people would actually do something. But that
dude, the Tompkinson guy, he disappeared for 3 days.
And then he came back, and they said he was meaner than fucking hell.
Yeah, meaner than a rattlesnake, as my grandmother would say. But, it was a dark theme that would stumble across time after time. While digging into the history of Stonewall Jackson, cut that shit. I came across hundreds of comments from former inmates. They each told their own personal stories. Anyhow, there's hundreds of quotes from former juvenile inmates that each told their personal stories. It was clear. This was a streak of systematic abuse that impacted the lives of hundreds of kids. What you drinking on, Cody? Why don't you tell them? What the fuck are you drinking on?
Pour me something tall and strong. Nah, it's just it's like a coconut, or not coconut, it's pineapple juice, Sprite, and like vodka.
Vodka?
Vodka.
That's got liquor in it.
It's Shirley Temple mudslide. Virgin mudslide.
Oh God, here's a quote from a little boy in 1964. He said, I was there, well, the quote's not from 1964,
Yeah.
You know what I mean. He said, I was there in 1964 as a 14-year-old boy. A favorite punishment of the cottage parents was to hold a child's foot up and hit their bare foot with a ruler or strap until you could hardly stand it. This was called a hot foot. One of the boys, you know what happened to them little fuckers?
What?
Ran over by a dump truck and killed.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that just ties into, there's got to be some type of ghost or some shit up in there.
Oh,
All
yeah.
this shit that these people went through, this place has got to be fucking haunted. But they also, not mean to cut you off, they also said, like, the kids that worked on the farm, they would, like, they would blow a whistle, right? And when they blow the whistle, it was time to start. And they would go and they would bust ass. And then when they blow the whistle again, that was the end. And they had a quota that they had to reach. And if they didn't reach this quota, they would, like, get smacked and shit in the back of the legs with sticks and shit. And they would walk back up to where they were going, like, with blood just pouring down the back of their legs from where they got hit. They were, like, basically slave labor.
Waitzel Beard from Lenoir, North Carolina said the trucks would come barreling in and never slowed down for nobody. If you were in the way, they ran you down.
What the fuck?
He said, I've seen other boys beaten unmercifully, blood flying out of their faces. I ran away after 3 months, determined to never go back.
Gas is too expensive to slow down, fella.
Oh,
What the
shit.
fuck?
As I read through the stories of those who stayed there, I wonder just how many more were out there. If this many had came forward online, there had to be dozens. Maybe even hundreds more.
I also read where at one point this one kid, I guess he was going through some shit, which, I mean, I could see why.
Yeah.
And he wanted to jump, or he did jump, or attempted to jump out of, like, the third story of one of the buildings.
That's just crazy.
And I never found out if he, like, died or not, but if he did die, he's definitely on some damn ghosty shit.
Mm.
That's crazy as fuck. It's just, I don't know.
Here's a quote from I'm assuming a lady. It doesn't really say if it was a lady or a man that went through there. But she said, the more I learned about the Stonewall Jackson School, the more it seemed like a scar on the land itself. While I'm a huge proponent of preserving the past, does Stonewall Jackson School deserve such a place in history? And if so, what would it say about the state of North Carolina? As I walked down the dirt roads between the cottages, I could almost feel little faces peering down on me from the broken windows.
Damn.
That's an eerie sense of forced silence that permeates the ground. There's a picture with a window being held open by a
And there's a lot of
branch.
pictures of this place if you look it up. I know a lot of people go there and take pictures because it's so crazy.
Vines now creep up the sides of what was once Cottage 13,
Oh.
and birds fly freely over the roof.
They
They're
really
on the
do.
roof. They're shitting down the chimney.
They're everywhere. No, but that moss and shit and ivy and shit, it grows up all over those buildings. Like I said earlier, that shit used to be swamped in that. You could barely even see it. But, yeah, I guess we'll get to that, but they're cleaning it up.
Dude, I ain't gonna fucking lie. I'd like to go in there, find me a toilet, and take a nice shit.
I wouldn't. Dude, I've seen videos of people walking in there. Because also, if you walk up over, if you ever go there, you'll see a bridge that goes over the road.
A large overgrown bridge.
Yeah, and yeah, like we were saying, it used to be overgrown. But if you go across that bridge, it actually led to the church, and that was the church that the kids would go to.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like, a bridge over to there. So this shit was all compounded. Like, it was all like a whole compound, like a legitimate facility.
Holy fuck. You know what they use the cottages for now?
What?
Storage.
Yeah, I seen that
That's
actually.
trespassing if you go in there. This is some white trash. Stonewall Jackson Road. Swink Benson Road. Kirk School Road. Old Charlotte Road.
Firefoot Road. Or Hotfoot Road. That's fucked up, but yeah.
A hot foot.
That's crazy they would hit people's feet. But that people were fucked up back then. People talk about the good old days. Well, there's the good old days for you.
What a great day.
Not a great day.
Dude, if I was ever sent there,
I'd fucking run away. Actually, a couple years ago, because spoiler alert, this place is still open, but not the old part. They built a new facility, and in that new facility, I seen where like these two kids like escaped. I don't know if they ever caught them. I assume they did, but yeah, these motherfuckers, soggy bottom boys, it right up out of there for real. Do you know, like, do you have any more, I guess you would call it testimony from anybody back then?
Oh my god. Well, I looked up quotes from people that were in Stonewall Jackson that brought up Stonewall Jackson's famous quotes in battle.
Oh my
Captain,
god.
my religious belief teaches me to feel as safe in battle as in bed. Who cannot conquer with such troops as these? Come on, man. The South again. What's an important quote?
Dewey quotes.
Thomas Jonathan? Oh my god, I don't give a fuck about Thomas Jackson. Who the fuck is Thomas? Oh, that's Stonewall.
That was our 30th president.
John F. K. Assassinated. Dead. Dead. He's dead.
Elf bar, baby. It's the elf bar, baby. What you smoking on tonight? The elf bar, baby, got me feeling so right. The elf bar, baby, got me tripping off the smoke. The elf bar, baby, goes everywhere that I wanna go. Down the road, to the lake, or show. I got my elf bar puffing down vape juice, rolling some smoke. Donna, 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 na 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 na, Donna, 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 na na na.
Charlotte Motor Speedway, baby. That was Dale Earnhardt live.
Dale Earnhardt live.
Corn cultivation at Jackson Training School at Concord, 79 through 639.
We can cut all this. That's why I'm coughing shit. I might keep the elf bar song in there though. That's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Whose status is what? Oh, here's one. Jerry Moore. Okay, he said this December 20th, 2010 at 6:57 p.m. He said, I was there in 1963 to 1964. I remember severe cruelty. I was 11 years old. My cottage parent's name was Udi or something like that. He would hit me in the face what the fuck? He would hit me in the face, fist kick me. Hold on, what the fuck is a fist kick?
I don't know. That's some fucking real.
Oh, no. He would hit me in the face with his fist, kick me, and even make me and the other boys get naked, hold out our dicks. He'd make us get naked, hold out our wieners, and while he slapped him with a rubber strap that came from a scrub broom. We would have to get on our hands and knees with pieces of wool blankets and waxing both the floors.
Yeah, I heard that.
If you slowed down before he told you, he would kick you in the ribs or ass. He was probably the most cruel of the people in charge, but there was many who you could see were getting enjoyment from beating.
He would give you the old McRib.
My name is Jerry Moore. My email is paintme@att.net, and my phone number is 828-669-5691.
Well, he put it out there.
Hey, I'm just reading what he wrote.
I'm just reading what the teleprompter says.
Oh shit, he said something else. Jerry Moore again. December 22nd, 2010 at 2:35 p.m. I also worked briefly on the farm. They would line us boys up, blow a whistle, and we would begin picking. The whistle would blow again, that meant stop. If you hadn't picked up enough to please them, they would beat the shit out of you with sticks. I can remember blood trickling down the back of my legs. The back of my legs, they called it agriculture. I remember it as child slavery. After picking the crops, of course, the beans had to be snapped, peas shelled, corn shucked. This was mostly done inside, but the same cruel methods were used. This time it was a woman with a paddle who beat us when we couldn't keep up. You talked about that earlier.
Yeah, they use these kids for, you know, slave labor is what I feel like.
Incidentally, if one wants to know how absolutely brutal the workers were, read this. I slept beside a bedwetter. Oh, never mind. You talked about that too. The guy that slept beside the bedwetter and he made his face. Damn, there's still a piano in there.
Oh yeah, there's
More
pictures
than
of
one
that piano. It's pretty creepy too.
I was there. Robert Duckworth. The first in the projects with the
I was about to say, is this
Mustang,
Kendrick?
the 5.0 thing. They say 5.0.
There he is.
I was there in September 1966. It was the summer of 66. I was there September 66, July 67. They were bad. It literally says they were bad.
They were probably fucked up.
Yeah, the cottage parents are so-called were rough. I was in cottage 17. I ran from there 3 miles and got caught. Put me in a jail small room with just a blanket and a toilet for a week at a time. I went to school a half a day and worked a half a day. I worked in the plumbing department. I think his name was Mr. Burris. I was transferred Swanoa in Black Mountain and released February 1968.
I wonder if when he would do something, and this is just a joke, but I wonder if when he would do something and the guy who was his cottage guy, because you know he was a plumber, what if he'd have been like, well, tough shit. So, you know, so where is this place at now? Like, I mean, where does it stand? Like, we heard some of the testimony. This place was fucked up. Not a place you wanted to go.
Oh no, fuck no.
I mean, fuck no, yeah.
If there was a place like this today, well, there wouldn't. Well, I don't know. There's some crazy shit that goes on still.
For sure.
This definitely, it could happen, but it would be on like somewhere like.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't be as public, you know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so just as like a post, you know, old time. This is a little bit more modern updates right here about what's going on with the place. So starting in 1992, the center actually had a pet therapy program in which the youth learned to take care of dogs, and the animals sometimes were made available for adoption outside the center.
Could you fuck them?
At that place, there's no telling. But that's actually, so it shows you that now, you know, with the new facility that's built beside it, it started to change.
After the 80s.
Yeah, and even like, you know, in the 70s things started to change too. That's really where it started with.
It's sad that they had to have a literal organization. People organized to stop rape of imprisoned persons.
Yeah.
To stop.
But that's how under the rap shit was back then. But yeah, so that's pretty cool that they were like, you know, nowadays things have changed. That's very good. I'm glad that people aren't fucking like living through shit like that anymore.
And fucking kids.
Yeah. But yeah, so also too, Peter Kaplan, I believe, or
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Kaplan.
Peter Kaplan. In a 2014 meeting with the Historic Cabarrus Association, he called the historic campus, and I quote, or he said, called the historic campus, and I quote, which I understand is now completely vacant, a remarkable collection of colonial revival buildings and one of Cabarrus County's most impressive architectural groupings. So he pretty much told them,
this was a nice building if you wanted to fucking kids.
No, that's not what he said, but he said, you know, that basically we should do something with this in the sense of like the historical value of the architecture.
Yeah, like
because the buildings, okay, no matter how fucked up the place was, the buildings were, for that time, very elaborate.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look up pictures of this place, like I said, and you can see all this stuff, you'll see what we're talking about. Like, it used to look, like, in that time period, it was very
I bet your daddy knows about
expansive.
This shit.
What?
You know the old guy I work with, Lumpy or David, whatever you want to call him?
He probably
knows. No, he didn't go, but he knows about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you live in Concord, you know about it. Go ahead.
But he's from Albemarle.
Oh yeah, but that whole area, so like Albemarle, Concord, Kannapolis,
So really
Harrisburg, yeah, people know about it.
Harrisburg County.
That's not a county. But yeah, so as of 2015, 23 of the 60 structures were used, and like you said, mostly for storage purposes. So if y'all got an old ass mattress you don't want anymore, just go chuck it out there. Not really, but
I would, fuck it.
and then
You can just take it to my house, I'll burn it.
yeah, he'll burn all your beds for you if you need them burnt. And as of 2019, the Youth Development Center served at-risk youth, allowing them to attend high school and receive a GED. And the latest figures show 107 residents. So still to this day, there's kids going there, not as many as the damn, back in the time 20s when it was really peaking and booming. But people still go there, which is, not as bad now, like we said, because they, moved it nicer now.
It's not that bad.
But yeah.
Me and my boy Cody are actually, we're going to be camping in a tent
Outside of there.
in the yard.
Fuck. Man.
In my backyard.
Oh, yeah. I do that. I'm not.
We're going to have a fire. I got a case of land sharks.
I'm
not me. I'm not old enough to have any beers.
Yeah. He gets that ordered.
I got to send that to Tyler. Tyler.
And then, also, too, in 2020.
What's up, Tyler?
What's up? Drinking Miller Yeller, Bo.
Hell yeah, Xbox boy. We're recording podcast for you.
That guy's the next president, if y'all wondered. But yeah, so in 2020, the North Carolina State Senator Paul Newton sponsored a bill transferring the historic campus to Cabarrus County along with 238 acres of Frank Bliss Park, which was a farm used by the school and became a park in 1979. Leased to the county since then, demolition of the historic buildings would cost $3.8 million, but selling the buildings increases the chance for preservation. This bill has become law. So I guess they're gonna just
Preserve it.
it.
Which I don't think is a terrible thing.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's very important, especially for people to learn.
People really want it to be destroyed, but I do think it's a big part of history.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
it's
in
not
the
a good
area.
part of history, but I mean, there's still plantation houses if you drive through North and South Carolina.
And there is something to say for it is very important to learn from the past. So seeing something like that right in front of you and being able to walk where these people were and feel like what they felt is a very big.
Yeah, when we get our YouTube going, we're actually going to go pick some corn from there and
We'll go check it out. We'll maybe do a whole video. By then we'll
And if they don't let us in, we'll just break in. So stay tuned. That's gonna be fire.
I'm pulling up with 13 Red Bulls, a pack of smokes.
I'm buying a GoPro for it.
Oh, hell yeah.
13 Red Bulls? Can I have 6 of them?
If you do go over there, you can't fly drones. I did see that. So keep your drones at home. You ain't flying them over there, boy, and I ain't either.
I'm bringing a drone.
I didn't say droid, I said drone. This ain't Star Wars, fella.
Hey, man, they'll shoot your goddamn drone down.
They will.
They keep
There's
an
a
old
guy-
man out there with a double barrel.
And what he does is he comes out, he spits one piece of his backer out of his mouth, he looks up, he winks, and he shoots the shit down right out of the sky. They said that motherfucker can shoot a damn mallard 14 feet away, man. Take him right down, man. But yeah, man, so that's a wrap, I guess, on the Stonewall Jackson Training School.
I hope y'all enjoyed.
I hope you enjoyed it too, even though it was fucked up. It was pretty interesting. Pretty creepy.
Okay, well, on today's episode of How Big Is It? Tompkinson.
Chode. He's chode mode in a disrespectful way.
Chode mode?
Yeah, chode mode. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Bad guy.
What about the guy that they ratted him out to?
The guy that ratted out one of the bad ones?
Yeah.
Oh, Sloan.
What about the guy that got mad about it and sent him off for 3 days?
Sloan.
Schlong?
Yeah.
What about John Cena? I'm thinking a hefty 6.
I'm thinking he's
inches.
sliding into second base. He's packing about 7. He's knocking on heaven
You
with
think
7.
that big steroid motherfucker's got
Well, they
7
say it makes we might have 7 on
It
him.
makes
boy.
your balls smaller, not your dick, I guess.
Them things look like gobstoppers.
I shoot up heron. How do you say it? Heron?
Heron?
Right in the vein. Right in the main
Heron?
vein.
Ain't that the official plan of the South?
Yeah, hell yeah.
We got more meth addicts down here.
Anyway, guys, join us for our next episode. We'll be covering
Something.
I
Well,
have
we
some
got-
ideas.
Okay.
I think, we didn't really get into the haunting of this. We could do a haunting next time.
Yeah,
Just
or we
thinking
could
we
go
go
back to this maybe in the future and do an update.
Yeah. We could do something crazy.
Since this is like our.
We could do
first-
that. We could do that shooting.
Yeah.
Remember when they made the homemade body armor?
Yeah.
And we weren't born yet. 1993.
I was born. No, I wasn't.
You weren't born in '93.
No, I was still.
You were in there.
I was knee high to a grasshopper at that time. No, I wasn't born. I wasn't born until
You were in your
the
mom.
next
man.
year.
Yeah, you were probably in your mom.
I couldn't vote yet, so I wasn't born. But anyway, man, that'll wrap this one up, and we're signing the fuck off of this piece of shit, and we'll holler at y'all around yonder next time.
We'll catch you later, you Duke mayonnaise eating pussies. You Hellman mayonnaise eating pussies.
Don't eat Miracle Whip. Just hit a gold bar in my backyard. See ya.